in the car and I'm like breaking it down for her and she's like, what? Hey, I'm your host Alexis.
And I'm your co-host Truth.
Sit back and relax because you're
in good company.
Hey guys, so my goodness, this episode is going to be low-key tea-filled because I have been completely entrapped by none other than Love Island USA. What can I say? They got me.
Girl,
they got me.
Recaps all over TikTok for like
a
bit.
No, truly. So I want to give just a little context. I have not watched Love Island, and I usually don't watch a lot of reality TV, like just sit down and watch it. I do watch recap channels. I enjoy that. I like being in the loop without actually having to like sit and watch it per se. Like I'll watch clips on YouTube, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the reason why Love Island for the first time has got me curious is because I watched recaps from this one channel and it was getting really insane. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to wait for a recap because the recapper kind of told us and didn't really show us what was going on in the clip lives because, you could get copyrighted. And I said, I'm just going to sit here and watch. So I started watching this week. And if you guys watch Love Island, you know about Serena and Cordell. I'm going to give a little backstory to exactly how this ties into this week's episode. Because this week's episode is all about the dehumanization of public figures and the entitlement people have towards them. And we're going to really dive into this. So a little background, if you guys are unaware and where my perspective is coming from on the show Love Island. They're on this villa, on this island, and they have... they're trying to pair up with somebody, and then at the end of the competition, you are able to win money if you have the best pair and this and that. The audience can vote, people can vote. It's very interactive. And these islanders, as far as I know, they don't really have access to the outside world, so they're very much on this island, on camera, like 24/7,
completely disconnected.
Very disconnected. They're all sleeping in the same rooms. They have the same living arrangements. Like, it's giving isolated for sure. And the goal...
It's giving summer camp almost, too.
It is, and it does take place during the summer. So basically what happens in this island is, from my understanding, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they are put there to find a match and couple up, and then they have new people come in on bombshells to try and sway you from your match. It just, make things interesting.
Right.
And then they have a segment weeks down the line that's called Casa Amor. And in this house, either the guys or girls get sent away to another villa, and a whole new group of really hot people come in and try to, sway them from their current matches and see if they can get into the main villa. You get into the main villa, you have a chance of winning the money, right?
So
that's kind of the background information. So two people that people really, just invested in is Serena and Cordell. And unfortunately, while Cordell was at the villa, guys, that man was doing a lot of things that homegirl Serena found very disrespectful. I personally found it disrespectful as well. And of course, some people say, well, she was moving really slow, so what were we to expect? But other people have come up and say, they clearly edited things out because they exchanged rings. Like, they were a lot closer than what we're seeing. So he goes to the villa. Mind you, I'm 3 days? They're spending 72 hours. He folded by the end of the night. So they have this thing where you can share a bed with somebody. And he was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sleep outside. I'm going to be respectful. And she was like, you can explore your options. But, when she went on dates, she wasn't kissing anybody. She wasn't being overly affectionate. She was just trying to get to know them. Unfortunately, he was kissing her. He was rubbing up on her. And it was a lot. She got sent a video of what was going on in the villa, and it was very distasteful. And she was like, I'm done. She set that boundary. She said, when he comes back, it's a wrap. He came back with the new girl, and now we're currently at the spot where he wants her back. And he's like, no, I'm sorry. I messed up. I want you. And basically, there was an argument that they had where she is really standing her ground and letting it be known, like, I am not interested, like, we're done, like, it was done when you disrespect me, like, I told you what I went through, and you decide to do what you do, so there's no going back. And the reason I bring this up is, and I was telling Trug about it because Trug is not completely hip.
Yeah.
Y'all.
Whoa.
Okay. No, respectfully, I wasn't hip either. But we're in the car and I'm like breaking it down for her. And she's like, what?
It's truly, the producers know how to get you hooked because they
really
know how
do.
to set up a
They
good drama.
really do.
And I'm hearing all of this secondhand from Alexis in the car earlier today. And I'm like, is this really for real what's happening? Because it's like, I need to go look at this show.
No,
and
truly.
see what
And I
is
was
going
showing her
on.
clips. And the reason I bring this up specifically, because it really had me thinking. And mind you, I'm now watching TikToks. And there's so many lives after the episodes
many
drop.
recaps.
So many. And a lot of people in the comment section, specifically, they're making edits of Serena Cordell, okay? Lovey-dovey edits. Like, it's fun, but it's like also, these are people. And I don't know, like, where are we drawing lines? Yes.
There.
So, you're 100% right. And in the argument specifically, people were saying, mind you, she's standing her ground. She feels disrespected. She's calling him out. And I really love how she did it because, unfortunately, in the situation that you're in, you still got to live with him, right? He's with you, and he's now has this girl with him that he's sleeping in bed with her. God, he's all close with her, and you just got to sit here and watch that. That's really tough. And you can't go anywhere. You can't distract yourself. And it's like a rumor mill, so everybody, all the guys were coming up to her like, it wasn't that bad. Liars, I'm scared because men lie. But the point of the matter is people were underneath the comment section specifically talking about the argument, saying, oh my gosh, this is so Wattpad coded. Oh my goodness, like it's giving movie. Please, they need to get back together. Oh, just give her time. She'll calm down. She'll go back with him. And it really like hit me. Mind you, I'm heated, bruh. I'm sitting here and I'm like, bruh, don't y'all want better for her? Like he completely bulldozed over her boundaries. Disrespected her. She doesn't have trust for him anymore.
Honestly, throughout the entire argument, right, she stated why she was mad.
Exactly.
She stated what he did specifically that evoked those emotions. And she said, this is how we are going to be moving forward. This is my boundary.
I'm done. And I respect it a lot because unfortunately, and we're going to talk about this, I do feel like a lot of people have poor boundaries. When your emotions get involved, your feelings get involved, people tend to lower their boundaries and make exceptions for people, right? And she was keeping it 100. She was like, absolutely not. But diving into that further, people's comments really had me thinking that, yes, this is entertainment and yes, it's reality TV, but I feel like there's a level of disconnect, realizing like these are genuinely real people. These are real emotions. This is just not, it's not scripted, because some people say, oh, reality TV is 100% scripted, but there was no way that was scripted. She was going off like that was not scripted. And I really want to ask you, Trug, how do you feel like you've ever been guilty of projecting or being like overly invested in relationships or anything like that?
When we first brought up this topic and brainstorming and outlining, I genuinely could not think of any couple where I was distraught over the fact that they broke up.
Can I
or
say?
Like them being together makes my life full. Like I've never had those emotions.
So I only had one couple that's ever, okay, that's a lie. When I was a kid, Selena and Justin Bieber definitely had me twisted, bruh. I said, because mind you, I'm like 7, 8. I'm like, Selena was my favorite Disney celeb, and Justin was like my favorite, like, I guess, singer
like
at the time.
Singer at the time, yeah.
So I just loved them together. So I was like so upset. But as I got older, I'm like, I don't hit the same way at all. But I will say, Tom and Zendaya, I was overly invested because they were secretly dating, and I felt like I was eating gaslight. I was like, stop it.
Can I say
Go
whenever
ahead.
actors within the same show are dating, I always question whether it's fan
and so
service.
many people were like, it's fake, and I'm like, no, y'all, they were secretly dating since like 2017. There's accounts dedicated to like sleuthing. It's insane. Like secret Thanksgiving, secret private jet trip. I'm like,
this is a lot of like peeking into a media
and
like
oh my goodness,
personification.
It was like frustrating when I was like in high school, and I'm like, why don't they just admit it, blah blah blah. But then like now that I'm like closer to their age that they were when they were dating, I'm like, nah, I get it, man. People in your business, like especially if it's a new relationship, who wants that? Because people feel so entitled to the woes, the ups and downs of whatever is going on. And even going back to Love Island, how people are so invested in Serena Cordell and just want them to work out and feel like it's like a movie romance, like this is real, like this, they got love for one another. And all I can think is, are we bypassing how he crossed her boundary? Are we bypassing
people are completely overlooking that?
No, because they want to, whatever I suppose ending they want for these people is what they're projecting onto them. And the comments were so astounding to me because they were like, I was like, okay, it's giving Wattpad. It's not Wattpad. This is not Wattpad.
A lot of people are like, I remember because I'm hearing this secondhand from Alexis. Like, they were meant to be for each other. He should have just kissed her when she was arguing. Oh my goodness,
yes. So one comment was like, he should have just grabbed. I wish he would have. I'm so toxic. Like, I wish he would have just grabbed and kissed her when she was in his face. Like is that not assault? Like, what are we talking about?
Because let's be so for real. If you are angry at this person
for betraying your trust,
right, and you're going down the list, you're saying
being
this is
with
why
another,
I'm feeling the way I'm feeling.
Yes, literally.
For them to completely disregard that
and
is
grab
a little
you
bit
and
insane.
Kiss you?
Like, let's tone it down a little bit.
How, oh, she's better than me. I would have folded. I really folded. Or just give it time. She'll give in. She'll let him back. And I'm perplexed because y'all are not real fans. You want the ending that you want because you've been invested in their story from the beginning. And, you know, going into it, it looked like it would be super cute and it would be super genuine. But now what's happened has happened. She got cheated on in every relationship she's ever been in. And this feels the same hurt of getting cheated on she's feeling once again. I don't think, how could you ever really trust somebody?
I think she's going to leave this show feeling like very hurt and like it's going to be very difficult to trust another person.
I do hope she heals from it. And I have to say this much about the situation. People who are like, oh, like they would have been amazing together. The person that she thought he was, he's not. Like, at the end of the day, that is not who that man is, because he would not have done that. He wouldn't have. And I think to lose somebody you really care about because you have disrespected them, honestly, that's a lesson he probably needs to have. He's like, what, 21, 22?
Really?
He's young, girl. He's young. She's like 24. So they're both, you know, they're not that old. And I think, I don't know, I fear it's like some people were saying it's the chase, right? Because she's not giving him what he wants specifically. And if she were to go back, would it change the dynamic? Because, you know, he got her back.
Oh, you were sharing like the Love Island couples with me. You shared that there was another couple where this girl folded immediately back.
So then we have Kaylor and we have Aaron. Same situation. He was doing a lot of things he shouldn't have. He was like, I love a lot of things about you, but didn't actually say the word. Ended up telling her he loved her after this nonsense. But she was back in bed with him the very same night. And people were like, and I think I want to talk about just like the different levels of just boundaries. It's very interesting because people are over her and him, but they want Cordell and Serena together.
Right. And like they can, this is literally, if Serena folded the same way, I feel like that chase will also be gone.
Exactly.
Right? So like you don't win either way, and you can see how these two reactions to the same like performance being done to them,
and it's very interesting
and how different it is.
So interesting. And next question I really want to know is like specifically talking about the lack of boundaries people have when it comes to public figures, and like why we think that is. And as we've been talking about this, I think people like to speculate. They like drama. They like gossip. It's like fun. People talk about this and they get views. Like, y'all, an episode will drop and people will be online on TikTok live. Thousands of people in there just talking about it, just debriefing about it. Because I think it almost feels like a huge giant cheese sesh. Like, you're seeing these people, they are episodes every day but Wednesday. You're seeing these people every day if you keep up. Like, it almost feels like parasocially, maybe a group of friends.
A little bit, yeah. It's a community where you're all like witnessing the same thing, and we're debriefing after the fact.
Right.
And there are so many recap videos going around, and people are gaining popularity for their takes
audiences
on how they are reviewing the show.
Heavy on that. And even going beyond Love Island, when I think about the lack of boundaries people have for celebrities, and celebrities talked about like, it's my job to act and come to work, but like I'm not getting paid to tell you about my personal life. Like, I'm not a reality TV star, and even to an extent that's scripted. And I do wonder, you know, do we blame, because as I said, the huge reason I used to really want to be an actress, like a professional actress, and then I realized I could never ever deal with the lack of privacy, because they see you out in public, they want to take a photo of you, you're not in a good mood, your hair doesn't look right, they don't care that pictures on the internet, they're telling their stories about it, they're saying, oh, they're so rude, this and that, they're not grateful for their fans, and people feel this entitlement of, if I didn't care about you, then you wouldn't have a job, right? You wouldn't be getting paid, you wouldn't have that, I wouldn't have to come see your movie in the theater, and if I didn't come see it, then no one would see it. And it's just like, I don't know if it's partly parasocial, because I think, as we said in one of our episodes about Taylor Swift, some people feed into that, like, you're my friend, you know, I like you. But then on the other end, some people are like, no, this is weird. And I know we did, like, touch on this on an episode, but that was specifically celebrities. And now I'm really thinking about, like, reality TV stars and just boundaries in general.
Right, because these reality TV stars do not play a character. They do not
That's
like, kind of
real
play
life.
into
Heavy
a
on
role.
that.
It's like these people are giving commentary on how these people should conduct themselves.
Yes.
In a way whereas like you do not see their like daily lived experience. You do not see the cut scenes that these producers like kind of remove from the show.
Truk made an amazing point. I think we probably came up with this together, but Truk, you made me think about how I was saying that it's different because celebrities, I almost feel like some of them like are putting on an act. They don't use their real name. It's like a performance. Like Beyonce's like, I'm Sasha Fierce on stage. Like she's Beyonce, but she's Sasha Fierce. Like it's this separation. But when you're like on reality TV or like a public figure and you're known for when your personality is why you're a celebrity, like that's what people feed into, then it's like this oh my goodness, I feel like it's just boundaries are now crossed because they're criticizing you as a person.
Correct.
They're invested in your love. Like, can you imagine that many people? Like,
having so much to say on who you should be dating, how you should have done this during your date, how you should have held yourself back, how you should have gone forward. So many opinions and perspectives and recap videos and opinion pieces are being made dedicated about your life.
Yes, and I can't imagine, like, how, because some people go on these shows, right, because they're like, well, I want to be famous, or, you know, you do get money at the end of this, and it's this weird line of people saying they're not going on here for genuine reasons, but like, if you're going to exploit me as a person, shouldn't I at least get, like, you know, a little bit of fame, a brand deal or something? I don't know, like, where the lines draw, and if we are held responsible as an audience because we're sitting here talking about it, we're sitting here and tuning in and watching TikToks and watching videos, and I'm like, I don't know where the lines are drawn, because like these people ask to go on these shows, but like I also feel like kind of society as a whole convinces people
feed off of
this.
It
feeds off of it. Like society as a whole is like, oh, like just imagine if you had this brand deal, and just imagine if you were famous, and like this is such a great way to do it. And I don't know, like, how far is too far? Like, are we doing things?
Because even then, like, you know how both of us, we don't really participate in the whole watching reality TV shows.
Exactly.
But once again, even with us not participating in it, it is still a thriving industry.
And I'm still watching recaps.
There are audiences interacting all the time, and things are always spreading. So it says a lot more about how we as consumers interact with the world.
That's a good point.
And like what is selling the most. And it's always, you know, sexual things. It's always gossip. It's always very shallow things to keep people kind of like distracted from other things.
I agree with you 100%. And even thinking about how people, and I said, like, get really hyper fixated and lost in the media they're consuming, that is setting unrealistic standards. You see people going on like freaking dates and be like, it's not giving this or that, or he didn't do this right.
It's not the same way as the movies. I didn't feel the spark.
And I feel like, unfortunately, because I can sit here and recognize that a book may have a trope that I like to read, but I would hate to experience. But it's almost like people are, the line is gone when it comes to the toxicity you might like to read about versus the toxicity you want to actually experience. And people do not have discernment, and I'm concerned. Like, young girls are sitting here being like, going back to Love Island, I would have folded, like, oh, like, he's really apologetic, she needs to take him back. What is going on right now, y'all?
And it's like really a lot about like the media that is popular and what is like what sells essentially, because people brought up the whole Wattpad thing, and it made me rethink like the content on that site is very toxic, very like territorial, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is what people were exposed to, and this is kind of like their expectation moving forward, and they kind of project that onto the media that they watch because this is like their reality essentially.
Heavy on that. Or even like how some people talk about how I can't read a book if it doesn't have, like, people like, what's the trope? Like, what's the trope in this book? Or I can't read a book without romance, or I can't read a book without a certain level of like spice or whatever. And I'm like, I feel like this is this is brain rot to me. It feels like it does feel like brain rot to an extent. I think because I grew up as a reader and I went through a whole lot of genres, and I did read Wattpad, and I like when I was like in middle school, but now I don't. And I was definitely like, I'm not gonna lie, like I be on the sites, but yeah, the difference is I would never ever want that for my life. And people talk about like tropes they would love to like to read about but hate to experience, and I think some people would just love to experience the tropes, like the obsession, right? The, you know, if anyone looks at you, like I'm taking them out type of or like there's all these different
it's
like
that disconnect because they really themselves haven't experienced it yet,
right.
or they know that they're able to like witness this all through a screen, that they
right.
can't put themselves in the
exactly.
shoes, because these are the this type of media is what they've idolized for so long that they don't realize that there is a real person
there's
behind
harm.
it all.
Exactly. And that's going like reality TV or like media in general, even how celebrities will, you know, act in a movie and they have great chemistry, and then people are like, oh, they need to be together in person, and then they're like sending death threats to their actual real life partners. Like, this is so what?
Yeah, I have seen that, and it's like insane because they're, once again, there's this level of disconnect. There's is all
Heavy.
consumerism, and it's all
Heavy on
just
that.
consuming media, and they want more of the media.
Yes,
and because this
yes.
person is kind of like the symbol of the media that they consume, they just drone in more
and
on
the way
that.
people on these reality TV shows specifically, they pick a favorite, they start rooting for them. Anyone who goes against their favorite, they're sending hate to, they're making edits of their faves. Like, it's full on stan culture. But should these people on these shows even be idolized like this?
Right, because the only thing is they've been given a platform with a wide amount of audience, but that's kind of it. And, you know, Love Island is, you know, what did you say? Posting every single day but Wednesday.
Yeah.
People are getting a constant stream of content. And that's what people
Heavy.
want in this culture.
Yeah.
They want constant content.
They hate that I have to watch it once a week, or I want to binge it all in one go.
Yes. So it's like this constant funnel of information allows the audience to continue churning out these ideas, these opinions, video essays.
Can I say, I saw a think piece on how people are talking about producers in these reality TV shows. They really get intimate with you. They know what makes you tick. They know what's going to trigger you. They start to really pick on what your type is, what you like, what you don't like. And I fear that because drama sells and people want to see conflict on their screens, y'all, they are literally getting into these, like, they're starting to learn exactly what these people, how they kind of work, and they're using that to their advantage. And I fear like, some people really cannot handle that, like, genuinely. They leave these shows and their lives are never the same. And I don't know, like, where is the line? Like, even the one girl who, she didn't see the full extent of what that man was doing on Love Island. She folded, she went back with him, and audience knows what he was doing. The producers know what he was doing. The guys on the island know what he was doing, and she's clueless to it all. There's a level of, wow, I'm going to feel really stupid, and a lot of the girls have expressed how they just are so embarrassed. Like, can you imagine? I'm telling Truk, your worst fear happening on national TV for everyone to see,
for everybody to witness, and for everybody to give their opinions on.
That is insane. And then to be saying, you're stupid, you need to leave him, or girl, forgive him, go back. Because I genuinely feel if she lets that man go, she's like, no, Serena Cordell, some people were like, she should have got him back. She might be getting hate for not going back with him.
You're never gonna please anybody, especially with the amount of audience that they have.
Truly.
And can I also add, everything that we are seeing is happened in the past, right?
Yeah.
So the commentary that we are receiving, these women has already went through the process. They've already made their decision. They can't go back on it. They don't know what you're saying about them online.
That is so real.
And like, this kind of commentary that we're feeding into kind of really goes nowhere at the end of the day, because what can they do now that they've already finished the episode?
I do think when you can pull, like, I guess real life examples of misogyny, or as we're talking about the people overstepping when it comes to boundaries and real life people, when you have a conversation like that, I mean, like, that's interesting, right? But I do think, I don't know, it's to me, there's a lot of nuance with it, but at the end of the day, I do think people, unfortunately, it's like these people are real to them, but they're not real to them, because part of it's just like, you're just entertaining me. And I was clicked
like
on a live,
screen.
right? Like, I clicked on a live, and some people are saying, like, honestly, like, after the show's over, I'm not going to care about what they're doing. I'm not going to be like, it's for the moment. Some people may stay invested. They like, I want to see if they stay in their couples, but like other people, they're sending them, and it's so messed up because they had this one challenge where they read out tweets. So then they're reading out hate tweets to these people. And I'm like, y'all are messed up. But honestly, it's just a lot to think about. And I feel like we basically touched on everything I was thinking about when it came to this specific topic. Is there anything you wanted to say?
No, I feel like we really went through a really wide overarching theme of how like the different ways that they're dehumanized on, like, public figures get dehumanized essentially.
Yes.
Because every aspect of their lives people feel entitled to.
Truly.
And really, at the end of the day, there's not much the audience can do besides give their opinion. And even then,
yeah, I know.
That's
and
it.
they do ask for audience engagement because you can vote people off. So I don't know. There's a lot to it, but I will say it will be really meta one day if someone does a think piece on one of us.
Oh my goodness.
They do a think piece on InGoodCompany. That'd be wild. But I do think, closing bits, there is this. I don't really have a fear of how people are gonna see our content, and if honestly, it would actually, I can't be flattered if you got a think piece. Like, just going through our, whatever. But
I think this is the point we spoke on previously about how we're both really curious on how people perceive us.
Perception is so interesting.
Perception is such an interesting concept.
It truly
and like
is.
If somebody made a think piece, I would sit down, popcorn, let me take notes on like how you analyze how I think.
Yeah, no, truly. Honestly, I think it's probably fun at first until you start getting maybe, because also I feel like
there's boundaries to it, guys.
There's also like a hive mind, and once one opinion gets spread about somebody, it kind of just grows and grows and grows, and then that's like the overarching way they are perceived by maybe like the general public, and then their fans see them another way. I've seen it happen a few different times. It's just interesting. I don't know.
I mean, also, like, and when it comes to, like, the whole media literacy things, once a thesis has been made about a certain person, a certain character, people start easily picking out more, like, evidence to support the major claim because that claim has been stated. So it takes a lot of work to come up with a new claim, and that's kind of, like, why this hive mind kind of perpetuates throughout media.
And even the way people are going in and, like, criticizing people for the way they react to different situations on reality TV. It's like, don't say you don't know if you'd act better. You really don't.
Right. There's so many variables to it too, because we as the audience are unable to see their living conditions, what it feels like to be there. Were they hungry? Were they
Literally.
Like other minor interactions that aren't shown on screen, that kind of pushes you in a certain direction as well. Life is so complex.
Thing I want to say, like, genuinely, we are wrapping up now, but I almost wish this almost feels like an experiment. This almost reality TV
social experiment,
like,
truly
social experiment, but just like a genuine human experiment. Because as far as we know, they don't have access to social media. They're staying on the same island, the same place. If they don't they don't partner up with somebody, they have to sleep outside with the mosquitoes. They're in their swimsuits all day. They're mic'd up all day. I don't know what their food options are. I'm like, I don't ever see them reading books or doing nothing. I'm like, this is a human experiment.
Because when
like,
Alexis
actually
told me there's like a very limited entertainment for like
I don't think they have
the TV stars themselves. I'm like, so what are you guys doing for 24 hours a day?
And that's really the last bit I want to wrap up on. Like, I think we gotta really be thinking about this, and I do want somebody to do like an analytic, like just really diving into what that does to the psyche. I need to know, because it's such a boiler room of emotions. No wonder you're getting this big reactions from people.
For real, it's a simulation essentially, because you are kind of isolated from the rest of the world and no other opinions are coming in, and it's all a controlled space.
Heavy on that, and I think that is where we're gonna wrap up today. So I guess think twice. And guys, I think you can speculate all you want, but please, I do not understand like posting like hateful thoughts on their pages or like about them.
Yes.
I feel like you want to talk to your friends and talk smack, be it. But as we see on Love Island, the way you conduct yourself sticks, especially when it's online and it's public and people get opinions and you don't want to say something you regret. And I think that's going to be our little wrap up. Now, I'm going to do my song recommendation. And honestly, I'm trying to think, because I was listening to a lot of music this week. But, a song that feels heavy on summer, and I think if you're on a certain side of TikTok, you've heard this, but Nights Like This by Kid Laroi, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's just a vibe. It's like, it's giving summer drive. Like, I'm gonna make sure to listen to it. She
on the drive. On the drive.
No, literally.
Yes.
Drive, and it's the sun setting. It just blasts it.
Yes.
But yeah, so what is your bit, girl?
So I was just on TikTok hanging out and whatnot, and people were kind of talking about the idea of like recession pop. Have you heard of this term?
I don't know. Wait, tell me.
Right. Okay. So what I picked up from this TikTok essentially was when like economic times are like doing not so well, pop music tends to get a lot more airy, tends to get a lot more light, fast, and we kind of see the evolution of pop music and how that reflects on our economic status at the moment. Because okay, they also brought up the fact about like pandemic hyperpop. When everything was slow and
or
like hyperpop was really popular in 2020, and it's kind of like how music kind of reflects how we are as a like
I get it
as a screenshot
like
of where we
pandemic music sounds like it. I'm telling you, you hear a pandemic song, you know
immediately.
You know.
There's this ring
Yellow
to
Hearts,
it.
bruh.
Yes, there's this ring to it.
Truly.
So, anyways, people are bringing back like the term recession pop,
oh my goodness.
and that's what I've been hearing
and
around
kind of
TikTok.
talking about that, I always find it so interesting when a song from like 10 years ago blows up now. Like Amber by 311 came out like 10 years ago and is now trending on TikTok, and I just think it's so interesting how music has cycles.
Yeah, no, always. And there's patterns in it, and you can like if you really deep dive into it.
Girl, I love music. I'm sure. No, but it is very interesting, and thanks for bringing that up.
So yeah, today was a very heated episode.
We talked about a lot of things
in.
I just want to say shout out to the humanities department
and shout out to Bobby.
That is a wrap on this week's episode. Bye guys.
See you next week. Peace out.